So we made it to 2025, 6 months of this channel. And with that, we've got some stuff that has been playing on my mind. So I just thought I'd jump on to wish everybody a fantastic new year. We are officially into 2025. And I wanted to do a really brief recap over 2024 and obviously Vision Pro's launch. So there's been quite a lot of outlets on different social platforms from X and some of the mainstream media, really debating over what has been 2024's tech product of the year. Now, in my eyes, I'm going to be biased because the channel that I created, this one, has been very focused on spatial computing, XR, Vision Pro, anything in that kind of realms. And so I'm always going to want to side on those kind of products. That said, if you don't know a lot about me, this is where you'll probably find a little bit more about the likes that I have and about the things that I see way beyond kind of its initial launches and its initial sort of starting points, and see these tech products mature from being something bleeding edge that's a little bit rough around the edges to what it could be in years to come. You know, my tech love has come from so many different things, and obviously Apple has been an important factor in my kind of life when it comes to loving technology. One of the most precious products that I desired so much when I was younger was an iPod. Like, the first generation iPods were, to me as a young kid, just unattainable, like too expensive, far past anything I could even remotely go to my parents and ask, can I have one of these? So realistically, my first opportunity to get an iPod was years down the line as it became a more mature, robust product, and a successful one for Apple in particular. But it definitely sort of spawned what came after it. Things like the iPhone and the iPad are just sort of morphed iPods with extra functionality, things that you almost at the time felt could come when the time was right. Yet so many people were speculating, they weren't sure when the iPhone particularly was ever going to be something real. And I talk about this because it really shows that products that are sort of new to market, first generations for a brand, not necessarily for a category, have clearly some path to growth, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're successful instantly. And I think this is one of the really important things about some outlets, some media outlets out there that maybe are dismissing something like Vision Pro, which is in its first generation. And then there are others that are giving it the tag of tech product of the year. And this is one of the things I need to kind of express off the back of seeing so many different products mature over the years, whether it be in the Apple ecosystem, the Android ecosystem, the Microsoft ecosystem, looking at things like games consoles or, you know, laptops and desktops. All these things have gone through levels of maturity from their initial first generations of products. Some things in first gen products weren't even consumer viable. Now, let's sort of lean back into talking about what this channel is about, which is spatial computing. It's not a new concept. It's been around for a very long time, and it's something that so many enthusiasts are desperate to see become more mainstream. Having a company like Apple come to the table in 2024, even if they haven't quite got everything right doesn't mean that the product is dead in the water. If we're to believe what a lot of the online rumour mill has been saying, Vision Pro is nearing its end of production. But that's just Gen 1's production. No one knows what Apple are truly doing behind the scenes. There are always slight inklings that something might be happening, something new, whatever that may be, whether it's a new tech product from Apple that's in a different category, whether it be a second generation Apple Vision Pro. None of us really will know until we get closer to the time where that product may go into production. One of the key things to take away from this video is to understand that first generation products for a company as big as Apple are absolutely not going to be the last of its line, especially when the amount of time that we kind of are aware Vision Pro has been in development for. Really would surprise me that an initial reaction to a first gen product and the amount of sales it may have been doing for the value that that product has had put on it, I think that there is definitely a place where more can broaden out that product line. And I think that Apple know this, they're not unaware of this. I think that unfortunately the broader public who don't know a lot about consumer tech evolution and about the product maturity cycle see something that exploded onto YouTube, into tech bloggers, articles and online media outlets for technology, on TV and everywhere, because it was Apple that were the ones that decided they were going to do this thing. And it gathers and garners the world's attention. But as it no longer is that new shiny thing, it's no longer fresh to everyone's kind of minds and vision, no pun intended, it now is seemingly like so many people are writing off Apple Vision Pro as a product. There are definitely things that can be refined. The iPhone in its first iteration had many things that weren't quite right about it. The recessed headphone jack, the lack of 3G connectivity, the overall small storage space and the inability to record video. Obviously at the time, people accepted that that's what the iPhone was going to be, and that nothing before it really had as many things as the iPhone, and it had a wow factor in its amazing UI and, multi-touch. So many different elements about the iPhone truly captured people's imagination, but it wasn't necessarily in its first generation a monster success. It really took till, say, the iPhone 4, where you got some extra advanced features. The quality of the resolution of the screen improved. They gave us more applications with the advent of the App Store in the previous iPhone generation in the 3G. This shows not only is a product that's in its first generation going to be extremely rough around the edges, and phones had come leaps and bounds in the years prior to iPhone, and this was just a giant leap forward. So let me just say this. Having worked in what is classed as extended reality as an industry for over 6 years, so many products have come to market with the promise of being able to deliver amazing capabilities. Ones that usually tended to be standalone devices where the processing happened on board, the battery is on board, the whole product itself is its own individual product without the requirement of any external compute. Things like Oculus, Quest, and then it became Meta. Into the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 line now, you have other brands that have been in this industry, such as HTC Vive, Pico, Pimax, to name a few. And then you've got high-end PC VR headsets such as Vario's headsets. You then kind of go towards games consoles where Sony brought their PSVR line to the PlayStation. But all of this is very confusing to the average Joe, the average person that doesn't know anything about what devices came before Vision Pro, or what devices came before, let's just say, even the latest Meta Quest headsets. And understanding what drives these products and the innovations that brands want to do, companies want to do, to make this technology better and better. To sum it up, things that were standalone before Vision Pro came to market with retrofitted mobile chipsets, things that really were used for smartphones, and panels inside that weren't exactly bleeding edge resolution. They were good enough. At the time, people were pretty wowed by VR and the ability to be able to utilize it, but not enough people found uses for it. We've got a product in Apple Vision Pro that took a huge leap towards what most people who have been in this industry have been wanting, and unfortunately understanding that there comes a price to pay for the things that you truly want. Greater resolution, more processing power, the ability to have better tracking, whether it be eye tracking, hand tracking, and overall a better overall experience with greater quality of video, whether it be immersive video, traditional form video, and audio. Having things like Dolby Atmos available within a headset is like nothing I've ever experienced. And then put that with Dolby Vision and access to App Store apps that are ever growing but are in its early days and will utilize a lot more of this processing power in this headset as time goes on. And as the product evolves and has more power and gains more ability to do so many different things, we're going to see this product just get better and better. A really good example when we talk about form factor and saying that something like the Apple Vision Pro as it stands right now is perhaps maybe on the heavier side, perhaps is a little bit, let's just say, not the most comfortable for every single person. It's not going to be like that forever. It's going to change as Apple see the chinks in the armor of the previous generation. The worst that it'll ever be is right now. And we really have to sit and wait for these companies to work these things out and use current users' feedback to gain an insight into what we want as time goes by. The Vision Pro is controversial in so many ways because you would turn around and say, if you were making a device that was supposed to go on your head, why would you make it out of materials such as metal and glass, things that have got weight, things that are maybe not going to be particularly ergonomically friendly when it comes to weight distribution? But realistically, this first product is a tech demo maybe of might, of the capability that Apple have to create something that is almost at the absolute bleeding limit of what is capable with an XR spatial computer device for 2024, heading into 2025. But we have no idea what refinements they will do. You have to look back to Apple's record with, say, the first generation iPad, and that product was, let's just say, pretty massive. And I wouldn't turn around and say that it was something that remotely resembled anything like the iPad 2 when that launched. The amount of refinements they'd managed to do in just one generational leap was quite big and impressive. So obviously we have to look towards, maybe in some regards, then the Steve Jobs effect and the ability to push people to do things that you would probably have found they couldn't have normally done under any other visionary. With Vision Pro, I can't see that leap happening quite so quickly in a Gen 2. When you put all your eggs into one basket, throwing basically what is for a headset like this, extremely high-end hardware in a desktop level chip with another chip that was custom made for the device itself and running the sensors and cameras, and then having to have basically a custom battery, really, in its sense, to power the product itself, there has got to be a little bit of leeway in how quickly evolution might happen, where the limitations are for a product like this in many ways, whether it be heat, battery life, just generally size may be a challenge to get everything in there and reduce the things that most people want in a headset. So as my waffle kind of comes to an end, I just wanted to say, for anyone who feels that Vision Pro being kind of rated as tech product of 2024, understand that most products that are out there, whether it be the new Mac Mini, whether it be the iPhone, whether it be any other product from another brand that's been around for a considerable amount of time, the Galaxy series from Samsung, or, you know, different types of computers, gaming computers, NVIDIA graphics cards, all of these things have gone through huge steps, leaps and bounds in their generations. Nothing came out of the gate straight away perfect. And the people that have rated this as tech product of the year clearly see what the future has in store for us, particularly with Apple, but whoever Apple have decided to, let's just say, kick up the rear end. And let's hope that that means that we have a lot more choice heading into the future. So let's hope that 2025 is going to be a good one. Let's hope that towards the end of this year and maybe into the beginning of next, we see a second generation Apple Vision Pro. We see a brand new device this year from Samsung with Google and Android XR. And we see more brands showing everybody that spatial computing is here to stay and it's not going away anytime soon. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's definitely more a conversational one to kickstart off 2025. I will be at CES in Las Vegas next week. I'm super excited for it, and I'm going to be capturing as many things and creating maybe some small mini vlogs from the show, having a look at anything from Vision Pro, Meta Quest, and more accessories to what maybe are new innovations in the world of spatial computing, be it AR glasses or anything else that could be a bit weird and wonderful, quirky and cool. I'll hopefully be able to catch it wandering around the halls in Las Vegas. And with that, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because if you do, you'll know when new videos drop. It's really not going to take you too long to do, and it really helps support this channel. If you've got your own points of view about Apple Vision Pro, about other headsets, and where the competition really is, please write it in the comments below. Let's get a conversation started. I by no means think the Vision Pro is perfect. Its price point is to be, let's just say, cringed at a little bit, purely because it's so expensive. So many people are going to just say, I don't know if I'm going to use it enough to warrant the cost. You have to decide whether you are looking for a device that is for gaming or for productivity or for entertainment, and it's the same with other established products. You look at television sets and phones. What does the job for you when it comes to watching or doing the type of things you like doing with technology? And are you looking for extremely high fidelity speakers, or would just a sort of mid-range or low-end soundbar work for you? Would you buy a 4K TV, or would you go straight out and get an 8K TV if you get your hands on one, no matter what the price is? Tech companies make products for everybody. And when I say everybody, everybody's tastes and desires. We'll yearn for the things that we haven't got yet, but when they do come out, they usually came out excessively at the high end if they're cutting edge at the limits of what we got. And Apple Vision Pro is no exception to that rule. Even if it's Apple and everyone assumes that Apple's products should be an instant success, I just don't quite understand how anyone can ever come to that conclusion. You're going to have its fanboys because it's Apple, but you're also going to have just general people that want something new. And it doesn't mean that because Apple made it, it's new. It's because Apple made something that maybe is a little bit further forward, but there'll be a price to pay for that extra bit of innovation. And I'm going to end it off with saying, if you are at CES, I hope to see you there. It's going to be an amazing show for 2025, and I can't wait. I'll see you guys for another video really soon.